Hello, darling besties, beasties, and becoming beings. Welcome to your slightly weird sisterhood, the place where we embrace our cringe, celebrate our unhinged, and show up gloriously, unapologetically ourselves. I'm Angie, and I want to hear about your favorite fandoms, the things that light you up, and the passions that make you feel alive. This is a space to love what you love. This is your glitter-drenched permission slip to be weird, a little vulnerable, and wildly alive. So, from my slightly weird little heart to yours, let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of your slightly weird sisterhood. I'm your slightly weird sister, Angie, and I want to talk to you about a Disney classic that you may or may not remember, the Aristocats. I laugh because the people who know love it, and the people who don't vaguely remember it or don't have any memory whatsoever. It's like when you watch those Disney montages, you see like a flashback of like Scat Cat and the gang like jumping on the piano, or of the three kittens running after each other. You're nothing but a sister. Or maybe you don't remember any of this. But before we jump in, and before I get too Disney nerded out, let's set the tone with Tea and Tarot, little tarot draw for the day. Now, today's deck is a simple Smith & Waite tarot deck. Your very classic, easy to read. If you've seen tarot before, this is probably the artwork you will recognize, which is like a little splash of green. I don't know. It's September now. Happy 2nd of September. And green is my color of the month, so it just felt good. But if you're looking for a beginner's deck, if you're starting to look into tarot and you're looking for a beginner's deck, this is a great one to start with. I will have it linked in the show notes. If you're in the market for a tarot deck, as always with the tarot read, take what resonates, leave out the rest. Let's see what we get for the day. We get the Tower in reverse. The Tower in general, I think, is kind of a scary card, or people tend to get scared when they see the Tower in general. You've got a burning building, people jumping off, clouds, thunder, lightning, rainstorm, all the things. But in reality, it's going to be okay. This is just going to talk about change a little bit. Let's dive in. Now, upright, the Tower is all about shaking things up, destruction, massive changes in your life. In reverse, it often means resistance. It's the fear of change. It's the fear of letting things shake up. It's the fear of letting go of the comfort zone that you're living in currently, even if your dreams are outside that comfort zone. It means clinging to what feels safe, even if like the foundation is literally crumbling around you. You'd rather feel safe in the things that you know and the patterns that you've created rather than try anything different or new, consciously or subconsciously. This actually perfectly ties into the Aristocat story for those who don't know the film very well. Duchess and her kittens are literally taken away from the comfort, luxurious life that they've known by Edgar and thrown into distress and a new world, new people, all these other elements of their life that they've never experienced before. But if that hadn't happened to them, they wouldn't have grown. They wouldn't have this new sense of family. They wouldn't have ever met Thomas O'Malley or any of the other characters along the way that made them grow into better, bigger versions of themselves. The Tower in reverse reminds us that sometimes the change is inevitable. The change needs to happen for us to progress. And sometimes maybe we're just scared of the fall. Maybe we're resistant to that change. And that's okay, but that resistance just causes delay. Change will happen. It's part of our everyday life, and resisting it can just make it harder for you in the long run. There's magic and little joys within the stress of change. So this is just a little reminder. Let's not be afraid of the change. Let's face it head on, and you might find a better version of yourself along the way, or just find that you have the courage to do things that you never thought you could before. Let's not resist the change. Let's go with the jazz of life. Let's go with the flow of things and see what surprises turn up. Now that we have set the tone for our episode for the day. Let's go back to 1970 and the release of the animated Disney film, The Aristocats. Now, if you haven't seen this film, it is worth the hour and 18 minutes to go and watch a beautiful hand-illustrated animated classic. It follows the story of 4 very pampered aristocratic, I feel like I'm going to mix those up this whole time, aristocratic cats, and how their fortune tries to get taken away from them. But in the end, they find a new sense of family and belonging and get to explore all the different sides of Paris that they've never been able to experience. Some Disney films are mega classics and mega hits in the box office. They've got rides, sequels, live action remakes, merch aisles at Target. And then you've got the oddballs. The ones that came once, charmed us, and never came back. And yet, decades later, people still adore this film. Marie is on backpacks, t-shirts. I've got it right here. She is a TikTok trending sound right now. People quote Duchess and Thomas O'Malley and the geese. And like their family. They know this film. They know the story. So why does this one-off film have such a staying power? Today we're diving into that in what I would like to call the Aristocat Effect. We'll get into what the Aristocats Effect is a little deeper later on in the episode. The Aristocats was not Disney's biggest film. Quite the contrary. It was a modest success, but this film grossed only, and I say only sparingly here, because it made about $191 million, compared to smash hits like The Jungle Book around that same time that grossed nearly $966 million. There's still a lot of magic within this film specifically. For instance, did you know that this film was actually based on a real life story? This was a true story. In 1910, there was an aristocratic family that gave its whole fortune to their cats after they passed on. Could you imagine that happening today? It's wild. It feels cartoonish, which is why I think it translated into such a beautiful film. The fact that this film was one of the last animated films that Walt had his hands on. His animation team specifically was a part of creating the film, and the film did release after his passing. However, there is that little spark of Walt magic, that special charm, that special cozy, hand-sketched animation feel that so many people just have warm fuzzies about. It feels very human. It feels touchable. It feels nostalgic. The music in this film is playful and jazzy and fun and exciting. And most of all, timeless. Chances are, if you've never heard of this film, if you've been to a Disney park or you have seen Disney at all, you will have heard the song "Everybody Wants to Be a Cat" from this film. And sometimes the smaller stories, the simpler stories, the overlooked things that stick in our minds and our hearts forever. And that's what makes a cult classic, a slightly hidden gem that sparkles in the hearts of those who remember them. The most sparkly gem of this film, arguably, might be the character Marie, the little lady of Madame's household, the adorable white kitten with a big pink bow and a personality to match. She only has a handful of lines in the film, but Marie lives rent-free in the Disney fandom. Why? First of all, the archetype of Marie. She is sassy, prim, feminine energy. She is the ultimate princess-type character with money and style and taste, but also a side of spunk and comedy that makes her such an icon. She's very well balanced in the world of lovable characters, where she has her faults, but also such adorable fun qualities that are really lovable and fabulous. Who wouldn't want a cute role model like that? Her most iconic line of Because I'm a lady, that's why. It's everywhere. Her aesthetic, pink bows, girly sass, translates perfectly into memes, fashion, kawaii culture, and is so marketable. If you've never seen the Aristocats before, but have been to a Disney park, I guarantee that you have seen Marie merch. From ears, hats, sweatshirts, all the cat merchandise in the parks have Marie on them. She's the perfect representation for cat people and Disney adults combined into one character. Marie energy is basically being extra and loving yourself for it. I even have my little Marie Tsum Tsum here. She's so cute. She's so simple, guys. She's just a cute little white cat with a big old pink bow. Who doesn't love it? Who doesn't love that? Now for me, the Aristocats film was a big part of my childhood. It was just one of those movies that was always in rotation. And the funny thing about this movie being in constant rotation is I wasn't even a cat person growing up. So I didn't even relate to them in like the sense of Madame wanting to like give my fortune to all these cats. But, oof, the Parisian aesthetic, absolutely. I was obsessed. The soft elegance of Madame's mansion. And then you go on this journey with the kittens through the French countryside, the riverside, onto the rooftops, meeting all these other characters from different sides of life. It was such a Parisian a little taste of Paris that young Angie was obsessed with. It was just a perfect dreamscape. It was so beautifully illustrated at the time as well, with the soft colors. It felt like jumping into a painting, and it was such a lovely escape for me. Not to mention jazz. You like a song or a soundtrack or something, there's probably a little jazz undertone to it. Why do you think show tunes are so popular? But this film has jazz written all over it. And there's something nostalgic and soothing, kind of like when you listen to oldies music that has, or at Christmas time when you listen to those old jazz soundtracks. Yeah, there is just something delicious and cozy about this soundtrack that it just warms my soul. Rewatching it as an adult, I realized it's not just a cute cat movie, although it is very cute, and my two girls absolutely love these kittens, right? For me, the thing that draws me in right now is the absolute beauty of hand-drawn animation. I love the imperfections, the little sketchy lines that you can see from frame to frame. It makes the characters feel alive. It makes the artists feel alive to me in a way that the cleanup of CGI and in a world of AI animation just don't do it justice. Which is why I'm so grateful for things like K-pop Demon Hunters that are just popping off, showing us that animation is still alive and important. There's a moment in the film, it's about halfway through, I'll see if I can timestamp it, where Duchess is tying Marie's bow, and her cat paws turn into human hands for a second and then go back into paws. And it is the most fluid, beautiful piece of animation that is just, it just is so satisfying. There's pieces of animation like that just stand out because they're so fluid and beautifully done, and realizing that had to be done frame for frame is mind-blowing. The thing with animation is that the artistry of it feels so human, so intentional. You can't add in things later. It is all done frame for frame, which makes every moment, every little piece of animation meant to be there. And in a world where we're leaning on AI more and more, it makes me appreciate the human touch more and more. And I think that's what the Aristocats Effect is. It's more than nostalgia. It's more than the cats being cute. Though let's be honest, it's a very real part of it. It's the combination of handcrafted beauty, a timeless Parisian vibe, and a story that crosses fandom lines. Cat lovers, Disney adults, animation nerds, jazz fans. Everyone finds a piece. Everyone finds a piece of themselves in this film. It reminds us that something doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a mega franchise or a blockbuster hit to matter. Sometimes one quirky little movie is enough to ripple through decades, to spark merch, memes, and Marie plushes galore. It proves that the small things can leave a big mark. And that's what the Aristocat Effect is. It's living in the archetype of the cult classic, the stories that endure not because corporations push them, but because fans hold on to them and keep them close. And it makes sense that cats are the center of this. Cats as an archetype are independent, aloof, stylish, and also deeply adored. They walk their own path, and yet people still find their way to welcome them in. That's why cats, whether in Disney film, memes, or other fandoms, always thrive in culture. So here's the tie back. Sometimes you are the Aristocat in your own life. Not the mainstream blockbuster, not the shiny franchise, but the cozy, hand-drawn, one-of-a-kind. And honestly, that's more powerful, more lasting than being popular in the moment. Because being the Aristocats means you're not here to blend into the formula or follow the trends. You are here to be specific. You are here to be you. The quirks, the styles, the imperfections. That's what makes your story sing. People don't connect to perfection. They connect to honesty. Something that feels real. And that's why the cult classics live forever. They belong in the hearts of the people that find them at the right time. They don't need to please everyone. They just need to be unforgettable to the ones who get it. And that's you, babe. You don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. You are unforgettable and incredible just the way you are. So maybe in your own life, you aren't the billion-dollar franchise. And that's okay. Maybe you're the comfort movie, the midnight screening, the favorite story someone can't stop talking about. That's not less. That's different. And sometimes being different makes you irreplaceable. So, for cosmic homework this week, I'd like to invite you to revisit something small or overlooked that you loved as a kid. A single film, an old CD, or a forgotten obsession. What made it special for you? What did it awaken in you? This is your invitation to be unapologetically yourself. And if you'd like to share your moment, I would love to hear about it. Please send me a message, DM me, email me, tag me in something that you discover about yourself. I would love to hear your story. Not everybody needs to be a blockbuster hit. Sometimes the hand-drawn, one-off parts of your story are the best parts and the ones that shape you the most. So this week, let yourself revisit those Aristocat moments. The ones that seemed too small to matter, but turned out to be everything. And if you've got a Marie plush tucked away somewhere, maybe give her bow a little fluff. I can't wait to talk to you more next week. Until then, au revoir.